Hey guys, today I have Jessie with me and we're going to be working on sculpting our arms as we work the body from head to toe. Let's do it together. If you have a ring, we're going to use it for a tricep focus while we do some squats to warm things up. Knees and toes are glued together, arms are long behind you and fingertips extended. We're going to crease at the front side of the hips as we lower back into your best squat, keeping the ribs stacked with the pelvis and lengthen the spine on all sides. Then we're going to inhale as we gather and rise all the way up. So the ring isn't getting squished or squeezed at all. It's just kind of activating through the middle back and the triceps, helping us to keep our shoulders aligned and our spine long. Inhaling to float up, exhaling, really trusting the weight of our body through the heels and the balls of the feet so that we connect to the front line of the body, midline, outer line, and back line. You want to feel that effort shared through the entire body as we're working. I'm already starting to feel those triceps. How about you, Jessie? Exhaling down. So you can give a little intention in on the ring, but we just don't want to squeeze it, okay? Let's do two more like this. Exhaling as we lower, sitting bones broaden. Inhale as you lengthen up. This is going to be our last one. And bring it all the way up. We're going to set the ring down for a moment as we go into our long bridge. So we're going to have our hands just off of the mat. Fingertips are turned out, and our legs are in first position with heels touching, toes turned out. On the inhale, we're going to float the pelvis up into a bridge position, making sure that we are activating the arms. You can even bend the elbows a little bit, and then inhale to rise and lengthen. Keeping the legs long, we're going to float the inner thigh of the right leg up, and the toes happen to follow. Go ahead and float that leg back down, keeping the pelvis quiet. We're going to float the left inner thigh towards the sky, and the toes follow, and bring it back through center. Continue working at your own pace. We're finding the middle back on the right and going to the left inner thigh as we pick it up. So it's that diagonal sling in the body working, and the arms are working like crazy to hold us upright. Let's do one more on the right as we inhale and lengthen. And then last time, the left is going to float up. Foot comes down with control. We crease at the front side of the pelvis and set the hips down. All right, let's go right into a Wunda-basque, and we're going to alternate between flexion and flat back today. So hands are going to come wide onto your mat. Step back with your feet 4 inches apart parallel, just like it was a plank. Now the left leg is going to lengthen up and back behind you, and we're going to start with flexion. So that means we're going to nod the chin, round the spine, and then shift the weight back as the left knee draws in and the spine is rounded a lot. Inhale as you unwind, and you're into a flat back position. We're going to do the left knee bent, but this time we just hinge at the hip, shifting the weight back. The back stays flat. That's an inhale. And then we're going to exhale as we bring it back. Nod the chin, round the spine this time as you bring it in, and then unwind into that 3-point plank. Keep working. We're going to really find the length in the spine in both directions. Even in the flat back, it's easier to find that length in the flat back. And when we're working in the rounded spine, it can be a little bit tricky to find length on the front body. We really want to aim to find that and broadness across the collarbones the whole time we're working. Exhaling as we draw the knee in, lengthening, and inhale, reaching for length from the head through the toes. Good. One more inflection. Exhaling as we round and lift as we pick up into that Wunda-basque position. Last time into flat back. Bring it back to that 3-point plank, and we're going to set the knees down onto the mat. Beautiful job. We're going to go into some leg crossovers with a tricep focus. So let's take our forearms down onto the mat. We're in a parallel position, palms are flat. Our knees are about 4 inches apart, our feet are parallel. What we're going to do is keep the toenail down on the right big toes. We sweep that leg long, 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 long. Once you have that leg as long as it can go, there's no more to give, then it is invited to pick up off the floor and lengthen into your best diagonal without shortening your low back. From here, we're going to keep the pelvis as quiet as we can as we cross that right leg to the left side of the mat. So it's going to cross the midline of the body, tap the floor. Inhale as you bring it back up to that start position. Exhale, keeping the pelvis quiet, lots of length on the left waistline. That's not easy to do. Inhale, bring it back to start. For additional focus through the triceps, we're continuing to work at our own pace with that right leg movement. You can hold the right leg up at the top, hover both elbows off the mat. By just an inch or two, you'll feel a major tricep activation all the way through the middle back. And we're going to continue with the same range of movement, but we are allowing the elbows to hover, and it really fires up the arm challenge through the triceps. Are you feeling that happen, Jessie?
A little.
Right, so you can do what works for you. You can try a few where they're up and try a few where they're back down on the mat. So do what works for you and challenge your body how you feel in any given day. Let's do one more of the leg crossovers. That looks beautiful. Lots of length on the waistline as we're working. And bring the leg all the way down. Next, we're gonna go into a side bend flexion. So Jessie's gonna come onto her right hand and right knee. The left leg is gonna extend long and the left arm floats up towards the sky. We wanna straight away make sure we're not overloading into the wrist or the elbow, so you wanna think about lifting away from the floor. We're gonna melt the heart down towards the sacrum, towards the low back. And from here, on the exhale, we're gonna bend the left knee and the left elbow towards one another. They don't need to touch, that's not the aim. And then inhale for length. You'll notice that as Jessie's leg bent, she's rotating into external rotation, so that inner thigh swivels forward. That's what we're after. Inhale as you lengthen. We want to keep the pelvis and torso pretty quiet while we're working. You can even think about lengthening the tailbone long as the psoas, the deep abdominals on the front side of the spine, are drawing upbound. Just a few more here. Let's go for 2 more. Exhaling as we bend and draw it in. Inhale as we reach for length. This is going to be the last one. Extend everything long with control. Float the leg back to the floor. We're going to go into the leg crossover now on the left side. So we have the forearms down on the mat. We want to remember that the big toe staying down helps us to access the inner thigh and abdominals while we extend the leg. So go ahead and reach that left leg long, Jessie. Bring it all the way long. Once it has no more extension, then we're going to lift from the glam line, which is right at the base of your seat, to float that leg up into the diagonal extended position. Notice that Jessie's holding her abdominals really strongly and centered in her core. Can you show me, Jessie, what it would look like if you kind of dumped forward? We don't want to raise the leg so high so that it dumps forward. All right, once we've got that organization, we are now going to exhale as we draw the leg across the midline of the body, keeping the pelvis quiet. Inhale, come back to start. Notice again that we're not allowing the low back to shorten. Exhale as we draw it across. Inhale as we lengthen. Your pelvis will move a little bit, that's okay. We're asking for a pretty big sweep of that left leg, but we want to keep it as organized and stable as possible. We can always add that little tricep hover. I see that Jessie's super excited about it, so she wanted to get right in there. So that tricep hover is going to give you even more focus through the middle back and the triceps. Let's go for one more here. You can choose elbows up or elbows down. This is the last time we're crossing the leg over on an exhale. Inhale as we come back up, and the leg comes all the way back down. Beautiful. Let's go into that side flexion on the other side. So we're going to have our left hand on the mat, left knee is down. We're going to lengthen out the right leg and come up into a side plank position. From here, right arm floats up at a diagonal towards the sky, and make sure we're not locking into that elbow joint. You want to go ahead and add a little breath to that left elbow. From here, guys, we're going to exhale as the elbow and the knee draw towards one another, almost as if they were magnetized, but they're not going to touch. Inhale as you extend. Exhale as you draw it towards one another. Inhale as you reach with length. The pelvis is trying to stay as quiet as it can as we move the leg through the range of movement. That's part of the challenge for the core. And we're obviously working that left arm, shoulder, and middle back like crazy. Let's do 2 more here. Exhaling as we draw it in. Inhale as we lengthen out. Last one. Inhale to lengthen out. Right arm and right leg floats down. Okay, we're going to flip it over and go right into the Wunda on the left. So we have our hands on the mat, shoulder width distance. The feet step back approximately 4 inches apart into your best plank to set it up. From here, we're going to keep the left leg where it is. We're going to extend the right leg long behind us, again from that glam line. We're going to stay as organized as we can. We're going to start with flexion, so nodding the chin, rounding the upper back. The knee draws in as we keep length on the front body while we're working, and then we inhale for length on the way back out. For this next variation, you can think about like a seat belt behind you, or under your pelvis rather. Think about that seat belt drawing you up and back to find the low belly activation. Exhale to round with length. Inhale to unwind. Find that breath in between the shoulder blades to find that middle back connection, and it's going to take pressure off of the wrists and the elbows. Let's go One more in each direction. So this is the flat back. This is going to be the last one in the rounded spine variation. Inhale to unwind, finding that breath, broadening the space between the shoulder blades. Flat back with that reach and length back. Come into that three-point plank. Lower the right foot down and both knees come to the floor. All right, in the studio we like to do our upper body jumps on our jump board, but here we're going to do it on the floor with the red band for resistance. So take the band one stretch into either hand, and we're going to lower down onto our heels with our hands long on the floor in front of us, elbows softly bent. So what we're going to do is exhale to prepare, narrowing the ribs around the spine, and then inhale, we're going to open up, and the band is going to stretch as we come into a high kneeling position. Exhale as we lower down, tap your booty onto your heels. Inhale, ribs lift off of the pelvis, pelvis lifts off of the legs to rise. Exhale as we lower down. Let's pick up the pace a little bit. Inhaling as we lift, exhaling as we lower down. Inhale as we lift, exhaling down. This time we're going to add a rotation to the left as we inhale, lift, and rotate. Pelvis stays forward. Exhale as we lower down. Inhale, lift, and rotate to the right. Exhale as we lower back down. Inhale, pick up, rotate to the left. Exhale as we lower back down. Again, inhaling to the right. Let's go back where we're just opening through center for the last 4. Exhaling down, inhale, open through center, really activating through the middle back. The arms are plugging into the middle back. That's where they live rather than on the tops of the shoulders only. Exhale as we lower down. Again, inhale, ribs lift off of the pelvis, arms open. This is going to be the last one. We're going to switch it out for the ring. Inhale as we open, and exhale, lower all the way back down to the floor. All right, guys, go ahead and set that red band to the side, and we're going to take the ring into our hands, and we're going to go into a little bicep focus, hover, hold. So it's also going to be a real burner for the legs and the booty. Sounds like fun, doesn't it? All right, take the arms into a 90-degree bend. Palms are facing in, and we're going to have a closed parallel position with our knees. No light between your knees or toes, even behind you on the floor. And we're going to keep the torso upright as we lower down, lower the pelvis down to hover over the heels by a few inches. You might already feel that effort pretty sincerely. Keeping the arms plugged into the middle back. Now we're going to do a small raise and lower. So you really want to find that intention, narrowing in on the ring. You should feel really sincere bicep and abdominal activation by doing that. Can you feel that connection, Jessie? The shoulder blades melt down, and that's what sends the ring up. We're going to do 2 more like this and layer on. Hold the ring with your arms about 90 degrees. Now what we're going to do is similar to that upper body jump. We're going to inhale, come up into a high kneeling as the hands raise, and then we're going to exhale as we lower down. So you can choose how far the arms extend. Inhale, the arms can come all the way long if that feels good for your shoulders, and you can keep them down. Exhale as you lower and the elbows bend. Keep the arms plugged into the middle back the whole time. Inhale as we rise. Exhale as we bend, creasing at the front side of the hip. Try to keep that torso upright. That's how we're going to find really sincere core activation. This is the last one. Exhaling down. Inhaling as we bring it all the way up and allow the ring to lower down. All right, let's go into a roll down with that ring. We're going to sit with our legs extended in front of us, your feet towards the bottom edge of the mat. And we're going to have our ring in our hands. This time we're going to take the ring so that the knuckles are inside of the pads. Our hands are inside of the ring. Arms are long, legs are long, sitting tall on those sitting bones. Plug the arms into the middle back. Lean with a flat back, 3 to 4 inches. Hold. We're going to roll the tailbone under us. Roll the low back. Roll the middle back. We're going to go all the way down once, all the way down. Back of the head touches the floor. Inhale, pick up the back side of your head like you're a hammock reaching long. Exhale as you roll up. We're going to come all the way up to a seated position. And on this next one, we're going to hold it halfway down. Lengthen with a flat back. Tailbone melts under you, low back, middle back, hold. So we're holding in that curl. And from here, we're going to do a scrape the barrel. So our elbows are going to bend wide as we draw the ring towards the chest. And then we're going to inhale as it brings long. Exhale as we draw the ring towards the chest. Inhale, arms go back long. Exhale as you lower. Inhale as you extend. We're going to do 2 more just like that. Find lots of length on the front body. Inhale, arms go long. Exhale as we bend. Inhale, arms go long. With control, we're gonna roll all the way back up to that seated position at the top, and then we can release the ring. All right, guys, last thing today, we've made it. We're gonna find that red band again, if you have one, and we're gonna come up into a standing position. So come all the way up, and we're gonna take a wide plie. We're just gonna do one because we're gonna focus on the range of movement with the red band and the arms. So toes are turned out. We're gonna keep our torso upright as we soften the knees and make sure the knees are aligned big toe, second toe. And you have a level pelvis. The arms are gonna come up overhead as we give a little feedback into the middle back by stretching that band. Go ahead and send the arms back down one more time. Let's send the arms up this time, really focusing on the shoulder blades melting down, mobilizing through the scapula. Hold. Now we're going to exhale as we arc to the right. The left ribs fan open. Then we're going to roll through the center on the same exhale. Then we're going to transition to an inhale as we come up through the left, unwind and center. Hold, exhale, arcing the other direction, opening through the side body, rounding through the center. Transition to an inhale as we come up and overhead. Hold at the top, arms are overhead, really commit to plugging them down into the middle back. And we're going to go into a little shoulder mobilization stretch. Do this as far as it feels good for your body. You don't have to do the full range of movement. We're gonna exhale. Arms are gonna lower down in front of us. You'll still feel some tension on that red band. That's an exhale. On the inhale, we're gonna bring the arms up and overhead. If it's accessible to you, exhale, the arms come down behind the body. That feels divine after all of that standing work we just did on those arms and shoulders. And then we're going to inhale, bring the arms up and over. Exhale, we're gonna lower the arms down in front of the body. Again, inhale, arms come up and over, plug the arms down around the rib basket. Exhale as we lower. Inhale, bring it up and over. Hands come down in front of the body. And that's all we've got today. Come on up. Great job, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that upper body burn. We'll see you next time.